Hey guys, and welcome to City Geek. I was recently on a trip to Portland, Maine, and I thought it was a fascinating little city that deserved a city overview video. In this series, I quickly touch on a city's history, population, skyline, as well as a few things that make it unique. Now let's meet Portland, Maine. I always like to start by quickly exploring how a city wound up being where it is today. Portland is located on a peninsula within Casco Bay in southern Maine. One of the interesting facts that help us understand Portland's history is that the city has actually had 4 different names. The first known inhabitants of the area were the Algonquin tribe, and they referred to the area as Machigon. Then in 1633, the first permanent European settlement was established named Casco. 25 years later, the Massachusetts Bay Colony took control of the area and renamed the settlement Falmouth. In 1786, citizens of Falmouth formed a separate town on what was called the Falmouth Neck and named it Portland. Portland grew rapidly around that time as a shipping port, in part because it was the most northern shipping port that didn't freeze over during the winter. This later made it the primary winter seaport for Canadian exports until 1923, which was huge for the growth of the city. There's an obelisk in the center of Portland that commemorates the 4 names of the city. Today, Portland has a city population of about 65,000 and a metro area population of about 514,000 people. This makes it the 104th largest metro area in the country by population. It's the largest metro area among the 3 states in the corner of New England, those being Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. One of my favorite things to talk about when evaluating cities are their skylines, but unfortunately for me, Portland doesn't really have one to talk about. The tallest structure in the city is the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception at 204 feet, and the next tallest building is the 16-story, 175-foot Franklin Towers. Although Portland doesn't boast much of a skyline, the downtown is really beautiful. The red brick buildings give the city a nice and unique look, especially along the water. Unlike other downtowns in the country that can sometimes feel run down or dangerous, Portland's downtown felt alive and safe, even late into the night. The most quintessential food in Portland is lobster, which you can find at restaurants throughout the city. Casco Bay and the forts within it was one of my favorite aspects of the city. Sitting in the middle of the bay is Fort Gorges. Depending upon the tide level, this fort looks like it's floating in the water. It was built in 1868 and was modeled after Fort Sumter in South Carolina. There are several other forts within the bay that were all built around the same time. There are also several iconic lighthouses around the bay, namely the Portland Headlight, which was constructed in 1791, making it the oldest lighthouse in Maine. On the hill above the city is the Portland Observatory. It's the only remaining historic maritime signal station in the United States. Due to the shape of Casco Bay, ships couldn't be seen until they were turning the corner at the harbor, not giving the merchants in the city much warning. This tower, combined with a powerful telescope at the top, allowed ships to be seen coming into the harbor from 30 miles away. Flags would then be hoisted, alerting merchants of the incoming ship. This made the Portland harbor much more efficient. It was operated until 1923 when the 2-way radio made it obsolete. You can visit the tower today and take a tour to the top where you have the best view of the harbor and Casco Bay. Well, that does it for my overview video of Portland, Maine. If you learned something, please give this video a like. Thank you.